Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into a book that's been a total game changer in human relations for nearly a century, but honestly, its lessons are more relevant now than ever. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. So, early in his career, Dale Carnegie noticed something really fascinating. He saw that the engineers who made it to the very top, the ones with the biggest paychecks, weren't always the ones who knew the most about engineering. As this quote shows, he realized that real success comes from combining what you know with the ability to deal with people. So what is this skill that the top earners have figured out? Well, it's not about being clever or manipulative. It's a complete shift in how you see and interact with other people. And when you get it right, Carnegie says the results, well, they can feel like absolute magic. Carnegie shares this really powerful story about a manager of over 300 people who was just a relentless critic. I mean, total nightmare. But after he started applying these principles, his entire workplace was transformed. It's incredible. 300 enemies became 300 friends, and even the janitor started calling him by his first name. That just shows you how powerful this stuff can be. But to get that kind of change, you first have to unlearn our most common mistake. Our default setting. When something goes wrong, what do? We criticize. But Carnegie argues that this is almost always the wrong move. He calls it the futility of criticism. And here's why it's futile. Criticism just doesn't work. It puts people on the defensive immediately. It wounds their pride, stirs up resentment, and pretty much never leads to any lasting change. All it does is make people double down and justify what they did. And I mean, history is just littered with examples of this. Take the huge falling out between Theodore Roosevelt and President Taft. They used to be friends, but Roosevelt's constant, harsh criticism didn't make Taft see the error of his ways. Nope, it just blew up their friendship and split their entire political party. So how did Taft respond to all that criticism? Did he change his mind? Not a chance. As you can see here, it was pure self-justification. He literally defended his actions with tears in his eyes. This is the crucial point, right? Criticism doesn't inspire change, it just breeds resentment and makes people dig in their heels. Okay, so if criticism is a total dead end, what's the alternative? This brings us to the one great secret at the very heart of this entire book. It's a simple but really profound change in how you see things, what we can call the Carnegie shift, and it's the key to everything else. The whole mindset boils down to this. You have to genuinely try to see the world through the other person's eyes. It's all about shifting your focus from what do I want to, wait a minute, what do they want? According to Carnegie, this is the only way to get anyone to willingly do anything. Carnegie had this absolutely brilliant analogy for it. He said, look, personally, I love strawberries and cream. But when I go fishing, I don't bait my hook with dessert. I use worms. Why? Because that's what the fish want. It's such a perfect metaphor for the entire philosophy. You have to bait the hook to suit the fish, not the fisherman. So how do we actually do this? How do we put this big secret into practice? Well, it all builds into 3 really powerful, practical rules that you can start using right away. These 3 steps are really the foundation of the whole method, and you'll see they build on each other, right? You move from avoiding a negative, criticism, to actively creating a positive with appreciation and interest. It's all just different ways of focusing on the other person. All right, first up, instead of condemning people when they mess up, find something you can honestly appreciate about them or what they're doing. It sounds so simple, but it totally changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. For instance, a safety supervisor realized that just ordering workers to wear hard hats was a total failure. The second he walked away, the hats came off. But when he changed his approach and asked about their comfort, reminding them that the hat was for their safety, compliance shot way up. Appreciation gets results where criticism will always fail. The second rule takes this a step further. It's not just about appreciating people, it's about making them want to do what you want them to do. This is the art of arousing an eager want by connecting your goals with what they desire. There's this story about a Shell oil salesman, Mike Whitten. He was struggling with a station manager who just let his station go completely. It was filthy, sales were down, and Mike had tried everything, arguing, pleading, and nothing worked. And here's where the salesman got really smart. The solution wasn't another argument. It was an experience. Instead of telling the manager what to do, he decided to show him what was possible. And guess what happened? Seeing that clean, modern station created that eager want Carnegie talks about. The manager was so inspired that he went back and totally transformed his own station without another word from the salesman. Mike didn't have to sell the idea, the manager sold himself on it.
Okay, this final principle, it might be the simplest, but it's also the most profound. You can think of it as the glue that holds all the other ideas together and makes them feel authentic.
Carnegie states this with such conviction, and you know where he learned it? From his dog, Tippy. A dog makes its living by just giving you love and attention, and at the end of the day, people crave that exact same kind of genuine, unselfish interest from other people. So how do we wrap all this up into a toolkit that you can actually use? Let's bring it all home. Here's the big takeaway. These aren't just tricks to manipulate people. They're principles for a much more empathetic, and because of that, a much more effective way of moving through the world. It really all boils down to seeing others as the main character in their own story, not just a supporting character in yours. So here's a challenge for you. Think about one conversation you have coming up. How can you change your approach by focusing on what the other person wants? The next time you want to persuade someone, just stop. And remember, don't start with your strawberries and cream. Take a second to figure out what their worms are and start right there.